Hey, welcome back to this bittersweet tale. Aji's answer nearly triggered her dad's heart attack. After a few minutes of sympathy for his son, he turned to look for Aji. However, Aji's living arrangement didn't change much. She moved into an apartment by herself. From then on, she was free as her mom went through 8 hours of labor, but instead of a beautiful life, she ended up becoming deaf and mute due to antibiotics during pneumonia treatment. Years later, Toni grew up. Though a bit special, she remained lively and unyielding to fate. She worked hard to support herself and even went dancing at bars, only to run into the quirky Aji. Her smile looked like a teaser for I bet you guys guessed it, Aji made a new friend. Yep, she invited Toni to join her cannibal club. Toni noticed Aji seemed really into her, like she was a new toy, so she decided to make the first move. Aji said she loved Toni's moves, but instead of responding, Toni pulled out paper and a pen from her pocket to have a silent chat. Aji was as happy as a child. Toni, so touched, wanted to hug her, leaving Aji bathed in warmth. They took photos together. Toni posed comically like a cartoon, while Aji captured the sweet moments. Subtitles, they exchanged notes on paper. Aji asked, "Isn't this tiring?" Toni replied, "For you, Imin." Enjoying the sweet afternoon, Aji finally took Toni home. "Of course, you've got to show some hospitality at first," so she offered her a drink. After a glance at Toni, Aji put the poison away, thinking, "In love now, don't ruin it." They played games at home and fell asleep. When Toni left for work, Aji seemed like one who'd lost a comic book. While Toni packed, Aji secretly took a hammer, acting like a silent assassin, and approached slowly. Just as she was about to strike, Toni earnestly wrote Aji a promise. "I'll be back next week," which made her load the tool. Soon after, Toni's mom noticed her daughter was missing and went to the cops, only to be told that they had no plans to find her. So, she plastered missing posters all over town, while Aji quietly watched, even donating 100 fuzzy knives to Toni's mom. Seeing Toni's mom so upset made Aji feel a bit guilty, but a sinister thought flashed across her mind. So, the moment she thought Toni might leave her without hesitation, she took care of Toni, and then began to cook. She chopped up the meat, tossed it in a pan, and sprinkled seasonings, resulting in something worthy of a gourmet chef. The next evening, Aji was back hunting for dinner. She lured a cute guy off the street back to her place with her enticing smile, saying, "Just take a few photos," then knocked him out and put him on her lap. Talking to herself, and she picked up a drill, planning to turn the boy into her cute zombie, drilling a hole, like she was playing a game of ghost making. Soon after, the boy woke up and saw Aji was gone, limping out of there. It seemed Aji's work of art was destined to turn into a dark joke. Upon returning home, she encountered cops and neighbors at her door. Their warnings seemed like a show. Neighbors reported the boy's condition to the police, all animated, while Aji played the role of the innocent girlfriend. The cops decided to take Aji's word for it, thinking it was just drunken shenanigans, and helped her escort the boy safely back home. Once inside, the cops merely glanced around, completely oblivious to the ghostly blockbuster hiding under the bed, and after a few words of warning, they left. As soon as the cops left, Aji picked up her drill again, the noises traveling through the vents to the neighbors like she was throwing a party. The neighbors worried about the boy's safety and called the police for answers, only to be dismissively told that it was just some gay business. The next day, while a neighbor was watching TV, they heard Aji making noise through the vents, like she was chopping something resembling a hole. Curiously, she knocked on Aji's door, and when asked, Aji feigned innocence. "Maybe it's just the smell of barbecue. Do you believe me?" she assured neighbors. She had resolved the issue quickly. When they returned from shopping, they met a new resident in the hallway, silently wishing for peace. The new male tenant was super friendly, helping the neighbors with their things, but they worried about the safety of the area and quickly warned him. She warned the new resident about local safety, advising caution around odd people, then saw Aji appear. She could only pray that guy would be okay, only to be jolted awake by noises at night, like fighting, wondering who the next victim would be. She hurriedly called the cops, but each time her pleas felt like chatting with the air. The officers were dismissive. Her worry deepened, so she took the landlord to check things out herself, only to find Aji again, feeling like she stepped into a thriller movie. But no matter how much they knocked, there was no response, and the landlord had no right to barge in, leaving them feeling utterly powerless. The foul odour from next door was impacting the neighbour's life, and the landlord finally had enough, giving Adji an ultimatum. Adji was furious, knowing Black Sister must be stirring the pot, so she confronted her, begging her to withdraw the complaint, bringing food as a peace offering. But Black Sister stood her ground. If you can't win a fight, just walk away, don't come back. Adji had no choice but to pick up the pieces and leave. However, Adji's creativity didn't stop. At night, Black Sister still heard the cries and whimpering. Subtitles. When she reported the incident to the police once more, she was still met with perfunctory responses, as if it were a familiar scene. She stepped forward again to listen for any sounds, her emotions a complicated mix. One day, Adji's fridge was empty again, so she went to a bar for food. Her neighbour reminded, "Your smell is unbearable." But Adji simply didn't care at all. She basically regarded the neighbour's complaints as just background music. She used $50 to load guys back home for photos and regular bar dates. No, she wasn't interested. As soon as they stepped in, guys were hit with the dim lights and a moldy smell and alarm bell ringing, but Adji dismissed it, planning for a cause. Just sit still and keep me company, no escaping. She pointed a knife at him, laying down the simple terms. What she got was his reluctant compliance, and thus began Adji's horror date, filled with that dark sense of humour.